Picture this. It's your 40th birthday. Your phone won't stop buzzing. Facebook reminds everyone it's your special day. Friends post old photos. Your family sends heartfelt messages. Your kids draw homemade birthday cards. Everything looks perfect. But then, later that night, after everyone has gone home, the balloons have started to lose air. The birthday cake is sitting half-eaten on the kitchen counter. The house is finally quiet. You grab a cup of coffee, sit alone at the dining table, and open your banking app. Checking account, $2,184. Savings, $6,730. Retirement account, $41,000. Credit card balance, $18,500. Car loan, still another 4 years. Mortgage, 26 years left. You close the app, not because you finished looking, but because you couldn't stand looking anymore. A single question keeps echoing inside your head. How did I turn 40 and still feel like I'm just surviving? You worked hard. You skipped vacations. You rarely bought luxury items. You weren't reckless. So why does it still feel like every paycheck disappears before the next one arrives? Then another thought creeps in. Did I already miss my chance? Maybe you should have invested in your 20s. Maybe you should have started a Roth IRA years ago. Maybe you should have contributed more to your 401k. Maybe you should have bought a house before prices exploded. Maybe everyone else figured life out, except you. If you've ever had thoughts like these, you're far from alone. Because turning 40 isn't just another birthday. For millions of Americans, it's the first time life forces you to look 20 years into the future. Retirement no longer feels like something your parents worry about. It suddenly becomes your problem. Medical costs become real. College expenses become real. Taking care of aging parents becomes real. And for the first time, you realize time isn't unlimited anymore. But here's something that almost nobody tells you. Feeling behind at 40 doesn't automatically mean you're failing. In fact, some of the wealthiest people you'll ever meet didn't build serious wealth until their 40s. And some people who looked financially successful at 30 end up completely broke by 60. Because wealth isn't determined by when you start. It's determined by what you do once you finally get serious. Hey, everyone. I'm Della. And here on this channel, we simplify investing, budgeting, taxes, and personal finance so everyday Americans can build real wealth without confusing Wall Street jargon. Because money shouldn't feel complicated. It should feel empowering. So if you've ever wondered whether you're too late, today's video might completely change the way you think about your financial future. Let's start with the biggest lie society tells people about turning 40. That by now, you should already have everything figured out. A dream home. A 6-figure retirement account. A paid-off car. Kids' college fully funded. A vacation home. 0 debt. A perfect investment portfolio. It sounds nice. But it's fantasy. That's not how real life works anymore. The world your parents entered at age 40 isn't the world you're living in today. Home prices have climbed dramatically. Healthcare costs keep rising. Childcare can cost as much as a second mortgage. College tuition has outpaced inflation for decades. Insurance premiums continue to increase. Even groceries seem more expensive every year. Meanwhile, most wages haven't grown fast enough to keep up. So if you've been feeling like the finish line keeps moving farther away, you're not imagining it. The game itself has changed, yet people continue comparing themselves to outdated financial milestones. And that's where unnecessary anxiety begins. Here's another truth most people never admit publicly. The people who appear financially successful often aren't. That neighbor who just bought the luxury SUV? It might come with an $850 monthly payment. The couple constantly posting photos from Europe? Half the trip could be sitting on credit cards. The coworker bragging about buying an investment property? They may also be dealing with vacancies, repairs, property taxes, and cash flow problems you never hear about. Social media only shows the highlight reel. It never shows the spreadsheet. It never shows the debt. It never shows the stress. And that's dangerous. Because comparison makes people believe they're losing a race they don't even understand. Instead of asking, am I doing better than everyone else? The better question is, am I making smarter financial decisions than I was a year ago? That's the comparison that actually changes your life. Now here's the encouraging part. Even if you're starting at 40, you still have one incredibly valuable advantage. You're probably earning more today than you did 10 or 15 years ago. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, many Americans reach their highest earning years in their 40s and early 50s. That means your greatest investing power may still be ahead of you, not behind you. Your 20s gave you time. Your 40s give you income. And income, when paired with discipline, can dramatically accelerate wealth building. That's why this video isn't about making you feel guilty. It's about giving you a practical roadmap. Because once you understand what actually matters by age 40, you can stop worrying about everyone else's timeline and start building your own. Over the next few minutes, we'll break down the financial milestones that truly matter by age 40, the biggest mistakes keeping people stuck, and the fastest ways to catch up, even if you're starting later than you hoped. And the best part? None of it requires winning the lottery, picking the next hot stock, or becoming a millionaire overnight. It simply requires following the right plan consistently. So before you assume you're too late, let's first answer one very important question. What should someone realistically have accomplished by age 40 in today's America? Because the answer is probably very different from what you've been told. The scoreboard that actually matters. Imagine you're driving across the country. Halfway through the trip, you glance at your GPS. It says 487 miles remaining. You don't slam on the brakes because you're not there yet. You don't turn the car around because someone else arrived earlier. You simply ask one question. Am I still heading in the right direction? That's exactly how you should think about your finances at 40. The problem is, most people aren't using a GPS. They're using social comparison. One friend just renovated their kitchen. Another bought a beach house. Someone else is talking about Bitcoin gains or AI stocks that doubled overnight. Suddenly, you feel like you're miles behind. But wealth isn't a race against other people. It's a system. And systems can always be improved. So before worrying about what everyone else owns, let's figure out what actually deserves your attention. Because there are only a handful of financial milestones that truly determine whether you're on track for long-term security. And surprisingly, owning a luxury home isn't one of them. Neither is driving a brand new truck, nor having the newest iPhone every September. Those things might signal income. They don't necessarily signal wealth. Real wealth is much quieter. It's the ability to sleep peacefully knowing one unexpected expense won't derail your entire life. So let's begin with the first, and arguably the most important, financial benchmark. Benchmark number 1, retirement savings. If someone asked 10 different financial experts how much you should have saved by age 40, you'd probably get 10 different answers. Some say 3 times your annual salary. Others say 4. Some calculators throw out numbers so large they make people want to give up before they even begin. Here's a healthier way to think about it. Instead of chasing someone else's magic number, focus on building enough momentum. Momentum matters because compound growth becomes dramatically more powerful once your investment balance reaches 6 figures. For many middle-income Americans, having somewhere around 1.5 to 2 times their annual income invested for retirement by age 40 puts them on a healthy path. Notice something important. That's a target, not a judgment. If you're already there, fantastic. If you're below it, that doesn't mean you've failed. It simply means your next decade needs to be more intentional than your previous one. Because here's something many people underestimate. The money you invest during your 40s often grows for another 20 to 25 years before retirement. That's still a tremendous amount of time for compounding to work. For example, suppose you invest $1,500 every month into diversified low-cost index funds inside tax-advantaged retirement accounts and earn a long-term average annual return around 8%. You're not trying to beat Wall Street. You're simply letting the market do what it's historically done over long periods. Over 20-plus years. Those consistent monthly contributions can grow into a retirement portfolio that looks dramatically different from where you started. Not because you found some secret investment, but because consistency quietly beat procrastination. And that's the lesson. The amount you've already saved matters. But the habit you're building today matters even more. Benchmark number 2, an emergency fund that actually protects you. Let's play a quick mental exercise. Your employer announces layoffs tomorrow morning. No warning. No severance. Your paycheck stops. How many months could your household continue operating before panic sets in? 1 month? 2 weeks? A few days? That answer reveals more about your financial health than your car or your home ever will. An emergency fund isn't exciting. Nobody posts screenshots of their savings account on Instagram. But financially successful families understand one thing. Emergencies aren't rare. They're guaranteed. A transmission fails. A roof leaks. A child needs unexpected medical care. A company downsizes. Life doesn't send calendar invitations before creating expenses. That's why most financial planners recommend keeping 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses in a high-yield savings account. Notice the phrase. Essential living expenses. Not vacations. Not shopping. Not holiday gifts. Just the bills that keep your life running. Housing. Utilities. Insurance. Food. Transportation. Healthcare. If those monthly essentials total $4,500, then your emergency goal might be somewhere between $13,500 and $27,000. Will that happen overnight? Probably not. But every paycheck can move you closer. And every dollar saved buys something incredibly valuable. Time. Time to search for the right job instead of accepting the first one. Time to repair your home without reaching for a credit card. Time to solve problems without making desperate financial decisions. That's what an emergency fund really purchases. Freedom under pressure. Benchmark number 3, high-interest debt should no longer control your life. Imagine trying to fill a bathtub while someone quietly pulls the drain plug. No matter how much water you pour in, the tub never fills. That's exactly what high-interest debt does to wealth. You can work overtime, earn raises, receive bonuses. Yet if credit cards are charging 22%, 25%, even 30% interest, your money is constantly leaking away. Before obsessing over finding the perfect stock, before trying complicated investment strategies, plug the leak. Every dollar used to eliminate high-interest consumer debt creates an immediate, guaranteed return equal to the interest rate you're avoiding. Very few investments can promise that. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean rushing to pay off a low-rate mortgage from several years ago, or a federal student loan with favorable terms. Different debts deserve different strategies. But expensive revolving credit card balances? Those deserve immediate attention. Because every month they're left unpaid, future wealth becomes more expensive to build. Now here's something interesting. Notice what we've discussed so far. Not one benchmark required looking wealthy. None required a luxury zip code. None required making $500,000 per year. That's because financial strength isn't built by appearances. It's built by resilience. And resilience doesn't happen accidentally. It happens one smart decision at a time. So now that we've covered the financial foundation, the next question becomes even more important. Once your money stops constantly flowing backward, where should it actually go? Should you pay down your mortgage faster? Invest more? Max out your 401k? Open a Roth IRA? Build a brokerage account? Or save for your kids' college first? Because the order you choose can literally change the amount of wealth you build over the next 20 years. And that's exactly where we're headed next. Stop treating every dollar the same. Imagine someone hands you an extra $1,000 today. No strings attached. What would you do with it? Pay extra toward your mortgage? Buy stocks? Leave it in your checking account? Pay off your car? Open a Roth IRA? Invest in AI companies? Take a vacation because you've earned it? Here's what's fascinating. There isn't just one wrong answer. There are dozens. Because personal finance isn't just about making good decisions. It's about making them in the right order. Think of your money like a football team. You wouldn't ask your quarterback to play every position. Every dollar on your paycheck has a different job. Some dollars are meant to protect you. Some are meant to grow. Some are meant to reduce taxes. Others are designed to create future income. The problem is, most Americans send their money onto the field with no game plan. Every payday becomes a guessing game. Maybe I'll save something this month. Maybe I'll invest. Maybe I'll pay extra on my loan. And before they know it, the paycheck is gone. Not because they were irresponsible. Because every dollar was competing for attention. Financially successful people remove that confusion. They create a system. Once the system exists, money starts making decisions automatically. And automation is one of the biggest differences between people who consistently build wealth and people who always feel like they're starting over. Step 1. Capture free money first. Let's start with something that's almost unbelievable. Imagine your employer walked into your office tomorrow morning and said, "Every dollar you save for retirement, we'll add 50 cents. Would you say no? Of course not. Yet every year, millions of Americans do exactly that. Employer retirement matches remain one of the most valuable workplace benefits available. It's one of the few places where your money can grow before it's ever invested. If your company offers a matching contribution to your 401k, your first priority should usually be contributing enough to receive the full match. Why? Because opportunities like this don't exist very often. You can't walk into a bank and ask them to increase your savings by 50% overnight. But many employers will. Unfortunately, a surprising number of workers leave those matching dollars untouched every year simply because they never filled out the paperwork or assumed they couldn't afford it. Ironically, not contributing often ends up costing far more than contributing. Step 2. Build wealth without letting taxes eat it. Most people spend years trying to earn more money. Very few spend time learning how to legally keep more of what they already earn. That's where tax strategy quietly changes everything. Think about two neighbors. Both invest exactly the same amount every month. Both earn identical investment returns. Fast forward 25 years. One keeps significantly more money. Why? Not because they picked better stocks. Because they understood where to invest. Accounts like traditional 401(k)s, Roth IRAs, health savings accounts, and other tax-advantaged options exist for a reason. Congress created them to encourage Americans to save for retirement and healthcare. Ignoring them is a little like refusing to use coupons at a grocery store you've already paid to enter. You don't need to become a tax expert. You simply need to understand that taxes are one of the largest expenses most families will ever pay. Reducing that burden legally can add tens, or even hundreds, of thousands of dollars to your lifetime wealth. Sometimes the smartest investment decision isn't choosing a different fund. It's choosing a different account. Step 3. Keep investing boring. Let's talk about one of the biggest traps people fall into after 40. Suddenly, everyone becomes an investing expert. Your coworker recommends cryptocurrency. Your cousin swears by penny stocks. Social media is filled with videos promising financial freedom through options trading. Every headline makes it sound like there's always one incredible opportunity you can't afford to miss. But here's what decades of market history have shown. Most long-term wealth isn't created by chasing excitement. It's created by owning productive businesses for a very long time. The stock market rewards patience far more often than prediction. That's why many successful investors build their portfolios around diversified, low-cost index funds. They're not flashy. They rarely make headlines. But they allow you to own hundreds, or even thousands, of companies with a single investment. Instead of betting your future on one business succeeding, you're investing in the broader growth of the American and global economy. It's simple. It's boring. And historically, boring has beaten exciting far more often than people realize. Step 4. Give every raise a mission. Now imagine this. Your boss calls you into the office. You receive a $10,000 raise. It feels amazing. For about 2 weeks. Then something strange happens. You upgrade your apartment. Your next vehicle costs a little more. Weekend dinners become slightly fancier. Streaming subscriptions multiply. Vacation budgets expand. Within a year, the raise has disappeared. Not because you wasted it. Because your lifestyle quietly expanded to absorb it. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. Most people simply call it normal. Here's a different approach. Before your first paycheck from that raise even arrives, decide exactly where every extra dollar will go. Maybe 50% increases retirement investing. Maybe 20% builds a brokerage account. Maybe 20% pays down your mortgage. Maybe 10% improves your lifestyle. Now you're rewarding yourself, without allowing every raise to permanently increase your monthly obligations. Income should increase your freedom, not your financial pressure. Step 5. Make your budget invisible. When people hear the word budget, they imagine spreadsheets, restrictions, coupons, saying no all the time. But the best budgets don't feel restrictive. In fact, you barely notice them. Instead of tracking every coffee purchase forever, create automatic systems. Bills paid automatically. Retirement contributions automatic. Investments automatic. Emergency savings automatic. Then spend what's left, without guilt. This approach eliminates hundreds of tiny financial decisions every month. And fewer decisions usually lead to better decisions. Because discipline eventually gets tired. Systems don't. At this point, you might notice something interesting. None of these strategies require predicting the next stock market crash. None require buying rental properties. None require working 80 hours every week. Instead, they quietly improve the direction of every dollar that enters your life. And over 20 years, small improvements in direction often create massive differences in destination. But even with the perfect financial system, one challenge remains. A challenge that silently destroys more wealth than bad investments ever could. It's not inflation. It's not taxes. It's not recessions. It's behavior. Because the biggest obstacle standing between most people and financial freedom isn't what's happening in the economy. It's what's happening between their ears. And that's exactly what we'll tackle next. The next decade is your decision. Let's imagine two versions of yourself. Both are 50 years old. Both earned similar incomes over the last decade. Both faced inflation, market downturns, unexpected expenses, and family responsibilities. But one reaches 50 with growing investments, little debt, and confidence about retirement. The other reaches 50 wondering where all the money went. The difference wasn't luck. It wasn't timing. It wasn't picking the perfect stock. It was the small financial decisions repeated month after month. So, if you're turning 40, or you're already there, here's the roadmap that matters most. First, know your numbers. Calculate your net worth. Know exactly how much you earn, spend, save, invest, and owe. You can't improve what you don't measure. Second, increase your savings rate every year. Instead of saving whatever is left at the end of the month, save first, then live on the rest. Even increasing your savings by just 1% each year can make a remarkable difference over time. Third, invest consistently. Don't wait for the perfect market. History has shown that time in the market has generally been more powerful than trying to time the market. Keep buying quality, diversified investments through every season. Bull markets. Bear markets. Election years. Recessions. Stay consistent. Fourth, keep growing your income. Your career is one of your greatest financial assets. Learn new skills. Negotiate your salary. Earn certifications. Take on projects that increase your value. The more you earn, the more opportunities you create for investing and financial freedom. Fifth, protect what you've built. Review your insurance. Create or update a will. Name beneficiaries on your retirement accounts. Build good financial habits that can survive life's unexpected twists. Building wealth isn't just about making money. It's also about keeping it. Most importantly, stop comparing your chapter 10 to someone else's highlight reel. Everyone has a different starting point, different responsibilities, different setbacks, different opportunities. The only comparison that truly matters is whether you're making better decisions today than you made yesterday. Remember, 40 isn't the finish line. For many Americans, it's the decade when income peaks, financial wisdom matures, and the power of disciplined investing really begins to compound. You still have time. Plenty of it. The next 20 years can completely reshape your financial future if you start now. Because 10 years from today, you'll look back at this moment in one of two ways. Either, this was the day I finally took control of my money. Or, this was another day I told myself I'd start later. The choice is yours. And your future self is already living with the consequences of the decision you make today. So start small. Stay consistent. Ignore the noise. Trust the process. And let every paycheck become another brick in the financial life you're building. Because financial freedom isn't created by one perfect decision. It's created by thousands of smart ones. One paycheck, one investment, one habit, at a time.